What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football alongside of Ezra from Idiot Ezra, bringing you guys a Week 3 episode of the Red Zone Blitz for the 2016 NFL season. Keep in mind, guys, hit us up throughout the week on Facebook and Twitter. We will answer all questions, even if it's not related to football. We're always there to talk to you guys. You guys make this show run week in and week out, so we thank you again. Now, let's introduce Mr. Ezra. Now, before we dive into some serious football topics, unfortunately, Ezra's team is 0-3 in the Wake Up It's Football Fantasy Football League. Ezra, what's going on over there?
And the image you see, represents how I feel right now in the Fantasy Football League. I gave one win away. Let's get that out of the way first, okay? Week 1, I forgot to remove Grunk, and I lost by a few points because my backup tight end, Eric Ebron, scored some points. But that's okay. I already tweeted this week. I mentioned I want to give everybody hope. Okay, I'm not fully faded away just yet in the Fantasy Football League. There's still plenty of season left in our league, and I'm going to come back. I want to give you guys hope so I could crush all your souls. So just remember that. So
this is the ghost of Ezra's past.
That's right. My fantasy football team is on, it's on dire straits right now. 0-3. Not a good position to start. But if you really look at our league, there's no powerhouses just yet. There's no one that that I'm chasing. So I don't think there's any powerhouse just yet.
I mean, right now, there's 2 undefeated teams, being Straight Cash Homie, who is Nicholas Guzman, and Gridiron Seahorses, who is Zachification. So we'll see about that. But for myself, I'm 2-1 right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I think I have a decent squad. I like some of the pickups I've made so far, and I'm all right with my team the way it is right now. I'm not. I'd say I'm probably where I want to be. 2-1's okay.
I'm okay. I just need to get a win or two because I'm waiting for my team to get healthy. I'm obviously waiting for Grunk because it seems like he's waiting for Tom Brady to come back, and I'm waiting for Lewis to come out of the pub. So after those 2 players, I think I'll be all right. I just got to insert Matthew Stafford as my regular starting QB now because Blake Bortles is off to a rough start, both, in reality and in fantasy. So, there's a couple changes, but I'm all right. I'm okay. My soul's not crushed, Zach. It's a hurt. It's a little faded, but I'm all right. I will come back.
All right, come back to life on us. Come back to life on us now. Now, a lot of news in and around the league this week. The biggest news today has by far been J.J. Watt with his back injury potentially could miss the rest of the season. We'll dive into what that means for the Houston Texans and those implications. A couple of news and notes going around the league. Dez Bryant, the wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, has a hairline fracture in his knee. The Dallas Cowboys are hopeful that he plays this week. Going over to the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson is also hopeful, or I should say head coach Pete Carroll is hopeful that he plays this week. He's questionable right now with, I believe, I want to say it was an MCL injury. I'd have to double check on that. So that's a bigger injury there as well. I'm not going to get into the whole Greg Hardy thing. I just think Greg Hardy deserves a minute of our time, so we're going to pass on Greg Hardy tonight. We're not going to talk about him. I know you mentioned a couple of other notes
and speaking about that Greg Hardy thing, and the other NFL teams are also passing on Greg Hardy, and good for them. I was saying Terrell Pryor believes the Browns can win out. Okay, he believes it's just a mindset.
Josh Gordon might have just maybe passed him one of these, and Terrell is.
Ooh, Cam Newton said, "I won't let Calvin Benjamin go catchless again." Because they got, we got to start talking about the Vikings. I mentioned the Vikings are Super Bowl contenders, but not a lot of people are talking about them a lot more than they should.
I got KB in my other league, man. He went catchless last week. He killed my team. I had T.Y. benched for Kelvin Benjamin. T.Y. put 23 on my bench. KB put up 0.
I feel you, man. I understand how it is. In my Yahoo league, I'm doing all right. I'm pretty good at my Yahoo league. I'm slaying them over there.
Serious question, though. Is the Vikings defense that good? Or was that or was it a combination of the Vikings defense, being able to shut down the Panthers offense and, potentially the game plan not going according to plan for the Carolina Panthers, because Calvin Benjamin is the biggest target besides maybe Greg Olsen in that offense. KB is your number one receiver. And with him being targeted once and going catchless, there's a problem there. And, I would probably point towards it's a combination of the Vikings defense and the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. You can't not throw to KB. He was targeted one time.
Pressure. Their running game wasn't as effective. They were taken off their usual game plan. But yes, I think the Vikings defense is that good. They've been pretty good the last couple of years, but they're just taking a step forward this year. You're in the third year of Mike Zimmer's system, and these were young players. And it takes a couple years for some of these guys to hit their prime and the nucleus to all gel. That synergy is finally happening. The Vikings defense is that legit. They're a top 3 defense in this league, and they proved it against the Panthers, who have, the reigning MVP Cam Newton, who are healthy. Though obviously they're missing Jonathan Stewart, but I think it had to do a lot more with the Vikings defense than the Panthers game plan.
I'm looking at the comments right now, and people are asking who's the worst 3-0 team. I don't even know if I want to answer that question, only because it's,
Well, didn't we answer this last week, right?
Well, the question was last week was who's the worst 2-0 team. Now it's who's the worst 3-0 team. It's, what? Let them be 3-0. Let them not be the worst.
I said last week was the Eagles, right? Wow.
I think so, yeah.
I said the Eagles, the worst 2-0 team. People were getting at me saying the Ravens. A lot of people were saying the Eagles and Ravens. Now they're both 3-0. I'm still gonna go Eagles, but you got to be ecstatic if you're a Eagles fan. You just got to, wow, you got to be surprised. Even though I'm not that surprised about the Eagles. Like I said, I thought they had talent. I didn't think they were going to be a 3-13 team like a lot of people thought they were going to be. They had some talent from years prior. But the way Carson Wentz has performed, and especially I think the defense has been more surprising than anything else.
Jim Schwartz. Schwartz has brought in a couple of pieces from Buffalo, being Leotis McKelvin. A couple of names are slipping my mind. I know Leotis McKelvin on one side. He brought in another cornerback. He brought in another linebacker because he was the defensive coordinator in Buffalo there. They've looked good.
Yeah.
Now, there's always that one team that starts out hot and ends up finishing like 8-8.
Yeah, the Falcons was that team last year. Didn't they start off 5-0 last year, the Falcons?
Right, and we've seen those teams every year. There's always that one team, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, or 4-1, 5-1, and then they just nosedive.
So if you want to talk about – so a better question would be for Super Hippo would be which team is most likely, the 3-0 team, to likely have that turnaround, to revert back? I would say the Eagles still at this moment. But you got to – for the first 3 weeks, you got to be –
Ron
Eagles fan, you got to look at this video. I'm going to hear my words going, whatever. Look at Carson. He's a boss. That defense, a boss. Yeah, and there's nothing I can say to that. They have exceeded expectations. They're surprising a lot of people, and they're looking good. They're looking good, and you can't take that away from them. And especially Carson, you got to be so happy that your rookie second overall pick is looking as good as he is. And overall, all these rookie quarterbacks, right?
So far, I'd say, yeah. I mean, even Cody Kessler didn't. I don't know if he turned the ball over yet last week against the Dolphins. And I thought, from what I saw statistically, he completed most of his passes too. So, I mean, so far, Dak Prescott good, Carson Wentz good. We haven't seen Goff, haven't seen Lynch.
The Broncos quarterback, he threw for 4 touchdowns.
Simeon,
yep, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I think Carson Wentz and Prescott are actually battling each other for the most passing attempts to start a career without an interception. They keep going back and forth each week right now. to who's going to break this record. They already broken the record, but who's going to keep the record?
Right. What about Jacoby Brissett last week? I mean, that's a game we can talk about right now. I know it's almost been a week ago since it was on Thursday Night Football. But, you know, the Houston Texans come into Foxborough, and a lot of people picked the Texans. I wasn't one of them. I picked the Patriots. But to see how Bill Belichick game planned for that game to play the Houston Texans with a third-string rookie quarterback is phenomenal. And one of the statistics that stood out to me was the fact that over the last 5 years, the New England Patriots have run one option play. One. Last Thursday night, with Jacoby Brissett, they ran 7. They game planned around Jacoby Brissett's strengths, what he could do, and one of those things was apparently being able to scramble, run out, and score a running touchdown early in that game. And that's what
we were talking about it last week. Hey, we said Bill the Hood. He's the master when it comes to strategy in the NFL. He was going to put his guy in the best position. He was going to develop a game plan that worked within his skill set and it showed. And he ran the ball. Blunt, the leading rusher in the NFL. Who would have thought in the first 3 weeks, Blunt would have been the leading rusher in the NFL?
I want to press pause on that real quick. Who laughed at me when I drafted him about a month ago?
That was me, and I still am. Okay, he's gonna once Tom Brady comes back. Once I bet you. You know, how about this?
I got you. You know, I got you
guys. Blunt won't even finish in the top 7 rushing at the end of the year.
You know what?
How about that one?
That's fine. That's fine. But right now, what is happening is
he's looking good. The first, yes, you're right. You're right. It's looking good for you right now.
Right.
And I'm gonna still laugh at you. I don't care.
Okay.
But right now he's looking good. That's all right. I wasn't ready. You saw the beginning of this video. I'm not looking good right now when it comes to fantasy football. So I was a little faded.
I'll give out a shout out to Cubone Football. He hasn't been here for a while. He says he's pretty bothered by the fact that his Rams didn't take Carson Wentz and they decided to go with Goff instead. But, I mean, I think a lot of people in the Browns organization, Browns fans, could be in that same boat with giving up that second overall pick to the Eagles.
Sweet dreams.
I don't know. I think it's just one of those things. They took Goff, and he hasn't played a game. Wentz has played the first 3, and he hasn't turned the ball over. So it's, I guess.
Well, let's not write. Let's not end it right now. This debate is not. We don't know if it's right or wrong what the Rams did. They're taking their time, which I got no problem with. I got no problem with sitting your quarterback. I don't care if he was the first overall pick. I believe in sitting your quarterback. Maybe. In this day and age, yes, it's easier to bring a rookie quarterback to start game 1. But if you want to sit him down, you want to go through a lot of people get on Jeff Fisher for thinking that old school style, that he needs to adapt to the new ways of the NFL, etc. I get that. But I got no problem with sitting your first overall pick and letting him learn from the sidelines. And maybe they'd be like, they don't have enough talent on the offensive side of the ball for their prize pick to succeed right now. So maybe they're protecting him in some ways.
Potentially, it's a possibility. I think, with that number 1 overall pick, though, with their franchise being essentially relocated back to LA, I think the fans are just wait. They just want.
Of course, the fans are always going to be impatient.
Right, they're going to be impatient, but like you were saying, the coaching staff probably have a different mindset, different plan with Goff, and I just don't see how he can learn very much sitting behind Case Keenum, because Case Keenum is not one of those guys that you're going to want to have a rookie quarterback sit behind and learn, because Case Keenum is getting murdered out there. He's just
I'm not saying he should learn. I'm not saying he should learn from Case Keenum, but maybe he needs to adapt to the speed of the game. Okay, maybe practice just watching the game from the sidelines will just make him absorb and slow it down for him, because that's a problem with most pro sports. It's just the speed of the game for everybody. It has to come to them, and by the time some of them it kills their confidence, and they never get to that point, or they're never given enough time to try to adapt to the speed, and their career's over.
I could agree with that.
But Goff, we'll see what happens. But there is going to be this criticism if he does become a bust. They're the team that passed on Wentz. So there was a lot of analysts that were team Wentz, team Goff, or some of them, a lot of them did like both.
I'm gonna switch over to the comments here. There's a lot of comments. You guys are coming in. Kevin Ortiz asks, how many Eagles wins will there be this season? How many wins the Eagles have? I'm gonna say about 10. Say they go like maybe 10-6.
I gotta look at their schedule and et cetera, et
I
cetera.
think that division might come. I think that division might catch up with them. I don't think it's as bad as the division that everyone thinks it is. So, Dallas has somewhat been able to consistently produce at a decent rate, both offensively and defensively. The Redskins, they got off to a slow start. They won their game last week.
They had to win that game last week.
I want to say they play the Browns this week, so they could be 2-2 after this week. And then they're Giants. I think the Giants, I picked them to win this division before the season started. I think I'm going to still stick with that so far, but they haven't looked too bad either, especially on the defense, which is something that they've been lacking. So I'm going to hold off on the Eagles running away with this division. Granted, they are 3-0, but I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 10.
I think the Cowboys have looked very good. I know they lost their opener, but I think they've looked very good considering the injuries they're dealing with. The Giants, I think their defense has looked good, but I don't think the Giants have put it all together. And I think that's scary for the rest of the division, that the Giants have not put it all together, but there's a lot of pieces. Oh, I'm always stressing this. Chemistry is very important. They haven't developed that chemistry just yet. And when they do, I think the Giants will become very dangerous. But they can't wait too long. They can't wait till week 11 to get this going.
And that was a question from Kevin I think I said Ortiz before. I think it's Ortiz. Zach Vacation says that there was a segment on ESPN about the Browns, and they got the draft pieces before they took a franchise QB instead of after, and that's been their mistake. I think I defended the Browns. I think it was last week regarding this same topic.
Yeah, because I was talking about they should have took Wentz. That's what I was saying.
When you make a trade before like that, though, you're not going to know what you're missing out on. And supposedly there was a scout who told them, I want to say, I can't remember, was it a scout that told them Wentz was not going to be good and he got fired? Or was it a scout that told him Wentz was going to be good and he got fired because that was the direction they didn't want to go in? I didn't figure out that story there. But either way, a scout got fired. But I defended the Browns' notion and trading down, letting the Eagles take the second overall pick, acquiring more draft picks in order to try and build that team for the future. And I still back that. I still back it. Regardless of how
I got no problem with what they did. If they got a nice haul, cool. And they say next year's draft class should be better, etc. Overall, it doesn't bother me. But was it a mistake? It could still be a mistake. And if it was a good plan.
If Wentz and the Eagles miraculously, because the Eagles have never done this, win a Super Bowl, all right?
You don't need to win a Super Bowl to justify that.
No. At the end of the day, the ultimate goal, the number one goal, regardless of wins, playoffs, anything, is
depending on the owner, is to win.
It's to win, but it's to win what? A Super Bowl.
Yes.
If Carson Wentz comes out and leads the Eagles to 10-6 seasons every year, but breaks their hearts in the playoffs, looks like Tony Romo 2.0, then who the hell cares what Wentz is going to do if he doesn't win a Super Bowl?
I think I posed this question a long time ago on the Red Zone Blitz. I've always asked, and I've always wondered from fans. I'm going to ask again from you guys. Do you want a franchise that's a consistent winner but doesn't win the Super Bowl. Let's say for 10 years, you're consistent, go to the playoffs, a little bit more success than the Bengals. Imagine, like the Bengals. The Bengals go to the playoffs, but they lose in the first round. But let's say you go like the Chargers, that was a couple years back. They go to the playoffs, win a playoff game, a playoff two game, but always went. Or do you want to be a franchise that sucks for most of the decade, and then you get one Super Bowl, and then you go back to sucking?
I want the Super Bowl. I want the Super Bowl. If the Eagles right now this year won the Super Bowl and sucked for the next 5 years, 6, 7 years, they want the Super Bowl because that's already what they're used to. Would you rather rather be able to claim to a piece of history that states that at one point you were the best team in the world, or would you rather, oh yeah, we're okay at 5 years for the next 5 years, but we're not going to win a Super Bowl?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because with Andy Reid, remember the Eagles, they were very consistent. They went to a Super Bowl, they didn't win it, but they were very consistent. You always felt like these guys had a chance. I don't know, I don't know. Maybe I might trade that in because my Jets just suck, and we've never been that kind of consistent in going to the playoffs and being a contender. So I don't know. It's frustrating when you don't win most of the time.
I mean, I can understand that because I don't know how that feels.
Yeah, honestly, of course you don't know how to feel. You're a Panthers fan.
Besides,
you go to the playoffs and win Super Bowls. You guys are greedy.
I don't really know how that feels to consistently be a bad team. I don't. But I promise you I'll never stop being a Packer fan. Regardless
I'm not saying you'll
I'm just
give
saying,
up on
I
your
know.
team.
But no,
well, everybody's saying they want the Super Bowl. Bird Gang said F the consistency. I want that title. Winning doesn't matter unless you get that ring. But he's a Cardinals fan. I know he wants that. So he never won a Super Bowl. He's never seen a Super Bowl. Maybe if you're I don't know.
I mean,
I understand the Super Bowl is the ultimate goal.
There's some people who are born and die, and their team never makes it to the Super Bowl.
Yes, you're talking about Jets fans. I understand.
There's people who are born and die, and their entire lifespan, they don't even see their team make a Super Bowl, let alone win one. So you're telling me you want to see Carson Wentz go 10-6 for the next 5 years, get smacked in the playoffs, versus Carson Wentz goes to a Super Bowl 1 year, wins it.
I'm just saying there's some fans that don't even get to experience. Browns fans have never experienced that. Going 10-6 consistently and go. Okay?
Browns fans. Yeah, that's fine. That's one thing they've never experienced. But it's about, at the end of the day, no matter what.
It's when the Super Bowl. I get that. I'm not saying there's a wrong or right answer here. I'm just saying Browns fans have never experienced it.
Man, it stinks. Sorry. I mean, besides when Jim Brown was around, but
I'm talking about these new aged Browns.
Right.
Ezra, you can't defend it. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying I like, I would like to have my franchise to be very consistent.
How about JJ Watt? I'd say that's the biggest story of today. JJ Watt, back injury. He had the back surgery in the offseason. Some thought that maybe he'd miss the first couple of weeks of the season to kind of ease himself back into, the live action, and that didn't happen. He played the first couple of weeks, and now some are saying he could miss the rest of the season. I mean, this would be huge for the Houston Texans. I mean, the best defensive player in the league, no longer, having that dominating presence in opposing quarterbacks' faces in the backfield, attacking the line of scrimmage, making big plays.
It's plain and simple. He's the most impactful player that's not a quarterback. It's just
correct.
That simple. He's the most impactful player, but it creates opportunities.
With this one single injury, does this, as crazy as this sound, potentially, tack off a couple of wins for the Texans without him being there in the lineup.
It all depends. I think it creates opportunities. It creates an opportunity for the Colts to come back and take this division. It creates opportunity for the Jaguars, everybody else in the division to catch up. And it creates opportunity for their first overall pick who has done nothing in this league because of injuries, etc., whatever you want to come up with for clowning. You want to show your worth. This is your chance, bro. Show why you were drafted number 1. I'm not saying become J.J. Watt, but become that gap. Fill in that gap that this team currently is going to have at that defensive end. You saw the Texans defense against a third-string quarterback last week with an unhealthy J.J. Watt. This defense is not the same without him. This team is not the same without him. But this is opportunities presented because of J.J. Watt going down.
So this is from ESPN. It says it's unclear if Watt will be a candidate to return later this season if he gets placed on IR. He would be eligible to return to practice after 6 weeks on IR, and he would be able to play after, or he would be able to return to game action after 8 weeks, which could be November 27th against the Chargers. But a team source told ESPN's Ed Werder, I do believe that he will miss the season, but with the new rule this year, if he were to be ready in December, he could come off of IR. But that's a long shot. So,
yeah. You know what? That might also force the Texans to come up with new defensive game plans. Because when you have a destructive force, you can gamble and risk on certain plays and game plan a certain way when you have a destructive force like that. I imagine when the Giants had LT, you know what? They could do certain things they wouldn't able to do without a dominant force. So I think that's going to change their dynamic on the defensive side of the ball, the way they game plan opposing offenses. And like I said, it creates opportunities. That's the one thing I have to stress enough. You have to these guys in the defensive line, especially Clowney, have to step it up. That's obviously, the most thing that happens anytime a big-time player goes down or any player goes down, the next guy has to step up. But you actually have a high, talented guy, first overall pick, where a lot of people were super high on, to try to take his place.
Honestly, I think Clowney ends up. I think after next season, he might not even be on the team.
Well,
I think he'll hit.
He's got to see, man. This is his chance.
So far this season, he has 9 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 pass deflected. That's it in 3 games. So he's averaging 3 tackles a game.
All I know is, man, if you look at the numbers, really, I forgot what numbers I was looking at. I wish I saved the link. J.J. Watt, I think I read something since he's been in the league. He's had over 121. He's had 121 something disruptions at the line, with sacks, pass deflections, etc., things like that. The next guy is Justin Houston with 79. That's a 50, point gap. It's insane how this guy's already a Hall of Famer. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and only in 5 years, this guy's already a Hall of Famer.
Now, what's scary is, though, he did mention
the second fastest to in 5 years with sacks behind Reggie White. Reggie White had 81 sacks, and J.J. Watt's got 76.
J.J. Watt has 76 sacks?
Career sacks in 5 years. He already had 2 seasons with 20-plus sacks.
Wow. Yeah, 76, you're right. Thing is with J.J. Watt, it's his 6th season, but he already mentioned, and it's coming out of his mouth in the offseason, about the possibility of retirement at some point before the age of 30. And right now he's 27. So this injury excluding him for the rest of this season due to his back. If you're a Texans fan, you gotta be ready, because in the next couple of years, if this retirement thing is actually in the back of his mind, and again, it came out of his own mouth, nobody else's, the Texans could be without J.J. Watt in a couple of years. As crazy as that sounds, and
I don't believe it.
If Jadeveon doesn't step up, and he hits free agency after next season, they might be without Clowney and Watt.
I don't believe that's going to happen. First of all, because, like you say, he's only 27. He comes back healthy. He has another year, another usual J.J. Watt year. A year or two, the man's contract, the way they paying these defensive players nowadays, some of these guys, he's going to destroy the current contract that he's probably like the third highest paid defensive player in the league. He's not going to give up that kind of money. I don't think he's going to give up 70, 80 million guaranteed if he's if they do his contract again at age 29.
I really want to find these retirement comments that he made in it was last April of this year. So if I can find these just to kind of reiterate what he said, maybe I'm taking it a little bit out of context, but I want to just make sure what he said before we talk about it here.
Gotcha. I'll check it out. Retirement. I know how to spell retirement.
Well, here's one comment where he says, "I have no idea when it's going to be."
I found one right here. Okay, where he says, "Oh, that's me." It says, "Okay, I hate these automatic ad videos that come up when you go on certain websites. Yeah. I hate it." And I'm not trying to be a jerk and put on ad block, but some of these websites make me want to put on ad block. But anyway, JJ, this is a Bleacher Report. I'll send you the article right now. It says he comments about how much longer he'll play. Okay, and I'll put it in the chat box just in case anybody's on their PC and wants to check it out. Oops, it says I'm not allowed to send messages, but whatever. I can tell you guys right now that I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to be playing as long as possible. I have no interest in that. I want to go out there. I want to play extremely high level. I want to help my team out. I want to love playing the game. I want to have fun playing the game. I know I don't plan on playing as long as possibly I can. It's not going to be terribly longer, but I'm going to play as long as I can, as long as I enjoy it and have fun. So he really just talking about whatever. He's just talking about
one of those comments,
As long as it's fun in this, and as long as he's getting paid $30 million a year, that's what I'm taking it from. As long as you're paying me the fat pockets, I'm good.
Yeah, I think once he gets one of those deals done, restructured or re-signed or extended, you gotta give him triple. You gotta give him 3 digits.
They say he's signed until 2021.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When was his contract done?
I could have sworn like a year ago, 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago.
How much did they give him? I can't remember. I really don't remember. I don't recall.
It was close to Sue money.
Man, if Albert Hainsworth got $100 million, and Albert Hainsworth was a D tackle who didn't do diddly poo, J.J. Watt should be getting double what Albert Hainsworth got.
It said, what's this contract? He got a 6-year, $100 million contract.
Yeah.
51 guaranteed.
Yeah, deservingly so.
That's actually less than Sue.
I think it is. Guaranteed wise, right? Didn't Sue get more guaranteed?
Excuse me? No, Sue got more money. More guaranteed money. Sue actually kind of blows him out the water. But that's okay.
Nick Ray asks, I love me some J.J. Watt, but is anyone pretending that they'd make or even do well in the playoffs?
Hey, if you got a good defense and you got a destructive force like J.J. Watt, you have a chance in the playoffs. Am I going to come up here? I thought they were, a legit quarterback away from being Super Bowl contenders, but questions out on legit quarterbacks, right? Your boy Brock, I don't know what did he do? He didn't chalk up anything last week.
Yeah, it's tough though. And I was watching that game. They got
yeah.
In the third quarter, they didn't get the ball offensively until like 2 minutes in the third quarter.
I gave up like beginning of the third quarter. I was like, this is just a joke. Texans. It seemed like the Texans didn't want to be there.
The Patriots punt the ball or kick the ball off, not punt. It wasn't punts. They were kickoffs. And the kick returner kept fumbling the ball. The Patriots kept recovering. They didn't get on the field until 2 minutes in the third quarter. It was a little embarrassing, to get shut out to a third-string quarterback. But, they had miscues all over the board. And it wasn't just Brock.
Well, I know that. It was the whole total team, debacle. All right, I'll go with that word. It was a joke. And speaking of a joke, what about 6 interceptions, Ryan Fitzpatrick, against the Chiefs?
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. There's only 2 things I can explain that performance. He went full Oprah, okay?
Well, you got to explain that. What does that mean?
Full Oprah is giveaway edition.
Yep,
okay,
yep.
When he's like, "Hey, you can have one, you can have one, you can have," he just went full Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really think is, I think the mob got to him. I think he owes a couple dollars to someone, and I think little Tony came to the locker room and said, "Hey, today's the day you're paying up, and we don't need him, and we don't need him money. We need you to throw this game." It was a travesty. Thank God I was in Miami enjoying the sun. Okay. It was my lady's birthday weekend, so I had to deal with that mess. Oh, women. Anyway, so I was dealing with that mess, eating fine foods and being in Miami Beach.
Must be nice.
So we went back to the hotel room. It was like the third quarter, like at the end of the third quarter. And I see him, we're getting crushed. And I just see him throw another 2-3 interceptions. So I think the mob got to him.
Not to, I don't know how to say this. You were in Miami when the Jose Fernandez news broke.
Yes, and I didn't find out until, maybe later on that night when I got to the hotel room or something like that.
You didn't find out about it until that late?
Well, I was on the beach. It's not like people were talking about it or anything. And, it's not like we had TVs on South Beach.
Right. But still, it's sad.
And I was right there. They said he was in Miami Beach waters. He was on a boat, and I was actually thinking about, chartering a boat to enjoy the view. And it's just sad to hear about. 24 years old, what he sacrificed to come over here. And you just got to give props to the Marlins for the way they handled this situation and honored him. But it's sad to see anybody that's that young to lose their life. It's just sad. And very promising career too.
Yeah, a little bit more than promising, I think. He was
their ace, wasn't he? I think he was the Marlins ace.
He was more than their ace. He was the ace on the Marlins, but he was probably one of the best. He had the most Ks in the MLB this season so far, and he's one of those players. I think top 5 pitchers. You can throw him in the conversation.
And not only on the field, he was about to become a father. His girlfriend's pregnant, so it's just a very unfortunate situation. And it's not like I read there was no drugs, no alcohol involved or anything like that. I guess it was just someone made a bad decision or something when they were driving the boat. I don't know the exact details of it. I just know it was a boat accident. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't hear about how the accident happened. I just know that it was a boat accident. But, to be drafted by the Marlins, I think with their 14th overall pick, ironically enough, he could have been drafted by 29 other teams. And he got drafted by the Marlins where, in that community, it's the largest Cuban community in the country. There's a lot of people who are going to be able to relate to his story, and they have related to his story, and that's why this story has been so big. he's someone who everyone from that community really gravitated towards and really loved to watch him pitch, watched him to really he raised the TV ratings in Miami. He raised the attendance at the park.
Look at his teammates. His teammates loved him.
It's really sad. It's really sad, and I couldn't believe D. Gordon hit a home run their next game, and supposedly coming from him saying that he's never hit a home run that far before because he doesn't hit home runs. It was the first home run he hit all season, and he said he's never hit a home run that far, even in batting practice. And for him to do that, to lead the game off, he told his teammates, if you guys don't believe in God, then you guys better start believing, because we don't, you're not going to see something like that. But it
was a powerful moment. So
it was a powerful moment. And it's just one of those things that you'd think you'd only see in movies. And that wasn't the case. This was real life this time. So, but it's unfortunate, that happened, and R.I.P. Jose Fernandez, and I think the sport lost a very, very good young player, and it's good that I like the fact that they retired his number as well. I thought that was really classy on the organization's part as well. So,
let me tell you, when it comes to management with the Marlins, they don't do a lot of things right. They did this right, and that's good.
Well,
usually their ownership, basura. Okay, there you go, some Spanish for you guys. Spanish word of the Red Zone Blitz of the day. Basura. But no, yeah, like you said, R.I.P. Jose, and hopefully, I bless his family, upcoming child, and everything. So hopefully everything works out for them. It's unfortunate.
So the Red Zone Blitz, back to some football talk. Closing out some of these Houston Texans, Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt tabs. There's a couple of matchups in Week 3 that I don't think many people expected to go the way that they went.
Talking about Buffalo Bills crushing
at home,
crushing.
Now, the Cardinals are 1-2, right? A lot of people went into the season expecting the Cardinals to repeat their success from last year. So far, they're 1-2, losing to the Patriots, losing to the Bills. I was one of those people who did not see the Cardinals laying the egg that they laid against the Bills. Did not see the Bills dominating the Cardinals the way that they did, even if they were at home. Carson Palmer has not looked very well.
Well, you got to look at, I think what I think is the best division in the AFC versus the best division in the NFC are going against each other. I don't think people should have expected 15-1 records, 14-2. These are two powerhouse. I won't call powerhouse, but you got two strong divisions going up against each other. So there's going to be losses across the board here. So I think people need to calm down just a little bit. Yes, it's discouraging that you saw the Bills. You don't expect the Bills to put a spanking on you, but they did go fly across the country against the Bills. So that might have been a factor, flying across country. I don't think we should look too much into it overall, but it is a little discouraging to see that happen. Speak English, Ezra.
I do need to take one thing back, and I said it last week on the Red Zone Blitz. I said LaShawn McCoy, I give him another year or two, and he'll probably be done. But this last Sunday, he looked a little bit more than he looked pretty damn good. He had 17 carries, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and he ran against a pretty damn good Cardinals defense, to say the least. So, LaShawn McCoy, if I had to apologize for anybody last week, I'm going to say, hey, LaShawn, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm going to take back what I said. You did pretty damn good.
I'm not. I think you're still right. I think you're still right. 1 or 2 more years, he won't be a Pro Bowl type running back. He probably still is right now. I'm not going to take that away from him, but year or two, I'm with you.
All right, year or two, but hey, He had a good week. All right, let's
You
not.
didn't say he's a scrub right now.
He had a good week. I don't want to rain on his parade. Maybe next week, if he stinks, I'll change my mind. How about that?
Oh, okay, yeah? Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Whatever makes you feel good inside. Did you see that video that Rex Ryan? He actually there was on a media call and he spoke to Julian Edelman, called him, gave him a fake reporter name, and asked him if he's going to play quarterback this week.
I did see that.
Moments like that, you just gotta like Rexy.
Here's the only issue I had with that. Okay. Now, I understand it was a joke.
Oh, here we go. Don't tell me you're going to be like, oh, here we go.
I understand it was a joke.
Oh, no, you don't.
Listen.
You're about to rant on it right now.
I'm not about to rant on him. I'm not. Okay. But I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. Can coaches get fined by the NFL for making any sort of contact with an opposing player from a different team? Because I've seen situations, I don't know if it was the NFL or if it was a different sport, it might be the NBA, where they can't comment or they can't talk about certain things, let alone talk to somebody from an opposing team. So the fact that Rex Ryan, asked Julian Edelman if he's going to be playing quarterback this week and they're facing each other, it's like, can't the NFL, or isn't there some sort of rule against that or something, or is it fair game? I don't know. That's the first question that came to mind for me.
I thought about that for less than a second. I was like, that's a joke. Whatever. Who cares? But David cares. I think overall, I'm
just curious.
They talk after games, right? After you play a game, they go to an opponent and they have a little slight conversation.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's not, now if you offer them money, that might be a big violation right there. And Nick makes a wonderful point, but I think, most people knew, because Nick said, Patriots beat the Cardinals the same way the Bills did. Cardinals got a great secondary, subpar front seven. Run game is physical, and Cardinals are quick, but not powerful in their defense. I think overall the Cardinals are more of a finesse team, quote-unquote finesse team, than a physical team. So usually you attack teams with physical play if they're, finesse. But that can work on you. Sometimes, obviously, there's pros and cons. You can use your speed, which the Cardinals have, to attack physical play. So I think in some ways they just have to change their game plan, Nick, overall. But finesse, I totally agree with you. The Cardinals are a finesse team, and that's why they lost to a more physical team this time around. But speed does beat physical at times. It just depends on the game plan, I believe.
How about the Vikings defeating the Panthers on the road last week, 22-10, after the Panthers got off to a 10-0 start? It was all Vikings after that, and they started off with a safety by sacking Cam Newton, one of 8 sacks in the end zone for a safety, and then they just turned on the juice. Cam Newton went 21 for 35, 262 yards, and 3 interceptions. Again, he was sacked 8 times. I asked you earlier, and for those who weren't here, is this Vikings defense legitimate?
This Vikings defense is legit. We spoke about this earlier. Like I said, they've been pretty good the last couple years. They were a young defense. Now they're maturing. The chemistry's there, and the synergy's all coming together. This defense is legit, and I think they're a top 3 defense in the league. Speed only beats physical in Madden. Come on, guys. Come on. That's not true. Look at the Rams. Even though that's the last finesse team I can think of off the top of my head that won a Super Bowl. Remember the best show on turf? That was a finesse team, and they won a Super Bowl. They were pretty good, pretty damn good. Let me see. Was there another finesse team since then that's won some Super Bowls? The Packers. Your Packers are more of a finesse team than power team.
When? Which year?
When they won the Super Bowl.
In 2010?
Yeah. I would say they were more on the finesse side. Yeah. Obviously, they had some big bodies around, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But overall, they were a finesse team.
Yeah, we didn't even have a running back in that Super Bowl.
I'm trying to think. Oh man, I gotta go Super Bowl winners. Super Bowl winners. I think usually they are physical teams. The Super Bowl winners. Definitely last year Broncos, the Seahawks when they crushed the Broncos years back. The Broncos were more of a finesse team, and the Seahawks gave them the beat down.
I'd say that Seahawks team, especially defense, wouldn't you say they were more of a physical?
Yeah. The Seahawks team are a more physical team. That's why the Broncos were finesse a couple years ago versus the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and that's why they got crushed. But I would say the Packers are probably the Packers and Saints, the Saints who won it the year before the Packers, that's another finesse team. So there's been some finesse teams that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, and I think it was a Zackification. Says, I disagree. Clay Matthews, Charles Woodson, Nick Collins, B.J. Raji are not finesse. I'd say Nick Collins was more of a physical safety. Charles Woodson, I'd say, is more of a finesse.
But he was a safety. Yeah,
but he still would come up and make some big tackles.
Yeah, of course he would. But I'm saying overall, that was a finesse team. You're talking about Clay Matthews and B.J. A defensive tackle better be big and physical. Well, how many finesse defensive tackles are you going to name me? But that's a finesse team overall. The Packers, 2011. The Saints, 2010. What about the Colts in 2007? Those are finesse teams in my mind.
I don't know, Nick. I disagree. I don't know if I disagree with Nick or not. I remember from what I remember with Nick Collins and Charles Woodson.
I think Woodson was. I wouldn't say he was a big hitter, but he was a.
I remember
he obviously was a good tackler, but that doesn't make you a physical, player.
Right, but there were times late in Woodson's career right before he left for the Raiders again. Our defense, there were times where they couldn't stop a nosebleed. And the only person who would really come up from the secondary and make a big tackle on a running back was Charles Woodson. And he was still old at the time, and he only got older. But at the time, he would come up out of nowhere and make a tackle. And I was like, that's what the defense needs. If we had a couple more guys like that who would, put their body on the line and literally spear players at times making tackles, that's what we need. So I thought at times Woodson could still get physical, regardless of whether he was.
But overall, you agree with us? It was a physical team. I mean, finesse team.
Overall, yeah, and then to me, I think more on the offensive side of the ball, the way that team spread defenses out with the multiple receiver sets. They didn't really have a big running back. I think they split carries between Brandon Jackson at the time and James Starks. That was his rookie season. So there wasn't a big physical presence at running back. We weren't a running team. We were more of a passing team on offense that year. And you'd see 4 and 5 receiver sets. You'd see Jermichael Finley get in on some of the action. So I think Jermichael was there, I'm pretty sure. So offensively, at least, yes.
Come on, Zach. You go Geo Atkins, finesse defensive tackle. Man's 300 pounds. He's very light on his feet for a defensive tackle. Does that make him finesse?
Tell you what, I like Aaron Donald, though.
Aaron Donald was I told you he was like one of the highest rated players in Madden. He was no joke.
No, but I agree with it. He's good. He's solid. Fantastic pick by the Rams.
Finesse as in he has moves.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah, I guess you could say some of these
quicker. A little more on
quicker, yeah, like agile, and like you said, moves.
Yeah, agile is probably a good word. A little bit more,
like you think of like Justin Tuck. You don't think of finesse, some type of guy like that.
Really?
Justin Tuck? Okay,
a little bit of finesse to get the sacks, man.
I know. I'm not saying that. You could be finesse and get sacks. Look, Dwight Freeney, one of the great sack masters of this era, relied mostly on speed. Am I right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we talked about Patrick Jamex.
It's right. Yeah, I talked about the mob got to him, That's the reason why he threw 6 picks. I think he owed
Tom Crabtree. That guy looked goofy, man. Tom Crabtree. That guy was a very goofy looking guy.
okay.
Anyway, back to the picks. I mean, it was another interesting game that was on last week. Jets, Chiefs, Chargers, Colts, Steelers, Eagles. Steelers, Eagles.
Oh, that beatdown. Talking about and the funny part has been beatdowns. It wasn't even like close games. The Vikings beat down the Panthers. Bills beat down Cardinals. And now that you're talking about, wow.
34-3. And to have Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown and not be able to score a touchdown says a lot. Who me and you have categorized as
Antonio Brown. Yeah, they shut him down.
You have categorized, once they get Le'Veon back, as the number 1 wide receiver, quarterback, running back combo in the NFL is that team. Granted, they didn't have Bell. That's fine. But D'Angelo Williams has looked like Le'Veon Bell.
He's done a fantastic job. You can't ask anything. You've got way more than you expected. He did it last year, and he's doing it again this year.
Get this. I want to double check this, but D'Angelo Williams. I think he's the oldest running back in the NFL.
No, he can't be older than Frank Gore, right?
33.
What's Frank Gore?
33. Frank Gore is 33.
Emmett Smith is still running. Isn't Emmett Smith still running?
No, D'Angelo Williams is older than Frank Gore by 3 weeks.
Okay. But Frank Gore runs like the oldest in the NFL.
But D'Angelo sure doesn't.
I'll tell you that. Frank Gore easily runs like the oldest.
So, nobody really saw the Eagles dominating the Steelers like this, which I don't know how you want to assess it. I don't know how you want to, really analyze how that game went, whether that means the Eagles are really, really good or whether the Steelers kind of had a fluky game where they just laid an egg.
Javi, come on. Let's stop it. I'm just sorry. I read the comment. He said, excited to see Wentz versus Prescott is the new Manning-Brady type rivalry. Whoa. Come on, guys. Let's not push it that far. Not this early. Come on, guys. Okay? I'm going to let you slide on that, Javi. But you make another comment like that, I might have to give you the boot. And I don't mean from the comment box. I'm going to just give you the boot. I would never do that because you're still awesome from being here. But I will give you these green. Oh, is it the Reebok? These are Reebok. I almost said Adidas.
We got to get like Timberland to sponsor us, man. Or somebody.
Oh, man.
Sponsor us and everything. They give us some shoes. We use them on the show.
But we spoke about the Eagles earlier. We said that the Eagles' defense is very underrated. I think that's the big – think about Wentz, okay? He's looked fantastic. Yeah, he's been a very nice surprise, but I think that Eagles' defense, more than anything, yes.
Let's do this week's winners. Let's predict the games because we may run out of time. We have a half hour left on the show. So before we get carried away with any other topic, let's make sure we get that in because I'm pretty sure we barely got that in last week. So let's go to week 4. Let's kind of work down the line. Tomorrow, Thursday night, you got the Dolphins at the Bengals. Both teams are 1-2. Bengals are at home.
I got some FanDuel. I do have a FanDuel going on right now. I got a couple players in this. Cincinnati lost last week. I think they're angry. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. Anger issues.
Rawr. I'm gonna take the home team. I'm gonna take the Bengals on this one. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a very exciting game. I think Giovanni Bernard might be a guy to watch out for. In this game, kind of keep your eye on. Like they think.
Oh yeah, he's on my factor. He's on my FanDuel team, so hopefully
might be an X factor. I got the Bengals there. Sunday, starting out with the noon games, you got the Colts at the Jaguars. The Colts are 1-2. The Jaguars are 0-3. And, you know, the Colts stepped it up a little bit last week, won a late game against the Chargers. Who you got in this one?
I think the Colts absolutely suck. I think the Colts absolutely suck. That's all I could tell you, man. I really do. If it wasn't for Andrew Luck, this team is 2 wins. And I got the Jaguars not going 0-4, who's been a big disappointment overall.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go with Jaguars.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I'm going to go with the Jags as well. I don't think they continue this losing streak. I think they're better than what they are right now record-wise. And, you know, they're playing a divisional rival who they know. I'm going to go with the Jaguars getting the first win of the season against the Colts. And I hate to admit it, but I'm starting to think that I was wrong on Andrew Luck.
I'm not
overall years.
It's not. It's just I can't put the pressure all on Andrew. Like, you gotta get him somebody. You gotta get him help. I know he's got some receivers, but I'm talking about you gotta get him a team. This is not a. Not everybody could be. Yes, he's the best prospect, probably since Peyton Manning, but he's not Peyton Manning. Not everybody could be Peyton Manning. He can't make up for the lack of talent on the defensive side of the ball, on your offensive line, your running back. He can't make up all these mistakes, the lack of talent you have across the board. And he can't make, can't make your coach any smarter than what he is either. Sorry. You can't claim all the mistakes.
Really quickly to answer a question by Jamex, because the Packers don't play this week. They're on their bye week already. He asked if I'm impressed with the run defense for the Packers. I think the run defense for the Packers is an A+ this season so far. They've looked phenomenal on the run defense. Couldn't be any better, really. Secondary, F. Terrible. Giving up making Marvin Jones look like Jerry Rice.
Hey.
And Stephon Diggs look like Randy Moss. Terrible.
Hey. The Marvin Jones is going to have 1,300 yards this year.
Well,
I wish if I was still in my dynasty, he was in my dynasty league. I was so happy he ended up on the Lions. Matthew Stafford.
With Andrew Luck, we were just on the Andrew Luck talk that his O-line stinks, man. It's really hard to do anything in the NFL at quarterback.
That team stinks.
When you don't have an O-line. If you don't have time to do anything, it's just not going to happen. So that team, unfortunately, just one word to describe them is sucks. Moving on, Titans at Texans. Titans are 1-2. Texans are 2-1. They're playing this game in Houston. Do the Texans bounce back from the beating that they received at the hands of the New England Patriots?
They should, right? They're going against Tennessee. There should be a gimme, but for some reason, I'm thinking I'm going with Tennessee here.
Okay.
Maybe the Texans' confidence might be, I won't say shot, but their morale's got to be low right now.
Oh boy. I might take the Texans. I think I'm going to take Texans on this one. I think this is another stinker of a game. I don't think it's going to be very high scoring. So it's probably going to be something in the realm of like 20-17. But I'm going to go with the Texans. Next game on the schedule is the Redskins. Actually, I should say the Browns at the Redskins. Redskins playing at home. I mentioned this earlier. They won their first game last week, being the Redskins. I could see them going 2-2. I'm going to take the Redskins over the Browns.
Shout outs. I'm on Get With Us Sports Pick'em League. I also have the Redskins winning that game. And people are not realizing Cousins, I think he's second or third in passing yards this year. As of right now, second or third in passing yards. So I'm going to go with the Redskins.
Terrell Pryor's going to have to do a lot more. Seahawks at the Jets. Seahawks are 2-1. Jets are 1-2.
Let me see. Who did I pick here? Let me see. Oh, I went with the Jets.
Uh-oh.
Because, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick already paid off little Tony. I think that him and the mob are good now. No, that's realistically, if I was a betting man with no bias, I will go with the with Seattle. But hopefully, with flying across the coast, the Jets do have receivers, big physical receivers to combat, the Seahawks' big cornerbacks, and we have a running game. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm still would if I was a betting man, the Seahawks, but I'm going with my Jets because I'm biased.
All right, I'm going Seattle. So
Well, your loss.
that's fine. That's fine. Next game, Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots.
I'm picking the Bills all for this one logic.
Okay.
I can't believe the Patriots are going to go 4-0 without Tom Brady, and they're about to go 4-0 without Tom Brady. So just based on that logic, and hopefully there's a football god with a law of averages that the Bills win this game on the road. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills just on that stupid logic alone.
Who are the Patriots starting at quarterback?
It's gonna be It's gonna be a boy again, right? Is it gonna be Is Jimmy G healthy again? Well, they're both banged up a little bit right now, right?
Brissett can't play. His thumb he can't play with that thumb.
And Jimmy G, I guess. I don't know. The point is, the Bills better win, man. That's one thing. Rex Ryan teams always play up to the big challenges and just lose to the teams they should beat.
Panthers at the Falcons. Can you believe the Panthers are 1-2? Falcons are 2-1. This should be an interesting game. I think. I don't know. I think this is a toss-up right now.
What game?
Panthers at Falcons.
Oh, I'm going with I'm going Carolina. I don't think Cam Newton's gonna have 2 straight bad games. Cam Newton's gonna have a revenge game. He's gonna be like, bounce back game. That's what MVPs do.
The Falcons are leading the league in points scored right now. 34 points a game, I believe it is. They're playing at home.
Yeah, but they faced the Buccaneers, Saints, and Raiders. Not 3 defensive powerhouses.
I don't know, man. I'm stuck on this one because I could see it going either way. Don't forget, the Falcons also gave the Panthers their only loss last season too. So it's a matter of whether I think they might have their number. I don't know. And I did do the Get Witted Sports Pick'em League as well, so I don't remember who I picked for this. So I could be wrong. I could have picked the Panthers, but I'm leaning towards the Falcons on this one. So I'm going to take Atlanta. Raiders at the Ravens. Raiders 2-1. Ravens 3-0. Playing in Baltimore.
And the Pick'em League, I have the Ravens. Even though I can easily see the Raiders winning this game. I don't know. Maybe I just think the Ravens, veteran presence, better coaching staff, better prepared. I guess the reasons why I picked them, but I can easily. This one's a toss-up. I think you can flip a coin here. I think the Raiders can easily win this game too.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is with the Raiders, I don't know if
I think Steve Smith is going to have a nice game. He's going to have one of those Steve Smith's performances.
I think I'm going to take the Ravens on this one. I'm going to go with them. Make them 4-0. Raiders at 2-2, but
earlier you picked we were talking about Houston and the Titans. I did pick Titans earlier, but on my pick I picked Houston. That was before the JJ Watt news and everything.
Say that again.
In the Pick'em League I picked Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to change that. That was before the J.J. Watt news. So I'm going to change that now to Tennessee. Boom.
Okay. Lions at Bears. Before I make that pick, I need to go just for a couple minutes, and I'll be right back. If you want to,
you're going to go vomit because these two are playing.
Yeah, yes, but give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. Lions and Bears. Who I think Matthew Stafford is having a wonderful start to the year. I think he's turned a corner. I've always been a big critic of his. I'm going to go with maybe because, oh, man. the Bears are banged up. They lost their starting wide receiver. I mean, they started running back. They lost Cutler. I don't know if is Cutler coming back. Will Ezra babysit us? Oh, Jen wants to talk about hentai. Unbelievable. I do need to ask you guys a question. Any of you play PC gaming? I'm going with the Lions, though. Matthew Stafford, that offense have turned the corner. That defense obviously needs to be more consistent. PC gaming. I'm tonight. I want to download like a survival game. I'm looking into H1Z1, Daisy, and there's another one, Ark. Which game out of the three should I download, or give me a suggestion? It's a new game I want to, stream and everything. I haven't streamed any games in a long time, so these survival games are looking awesome. I got the idea from, I seen a couple videos on Rust. Epic. Such a fun video to watch on Rust. But Rust, I hear you have to put in massive hours, and you need a crew in Rust. There goes Zach bringing up Rust right there. Zach, I need a crew. Are you on Rust? Because I'm not going to go on Rust so I could get, become a entertainment. I'm not going to become a slave to anyone. Get battered, beaten, and everything in Rust. People are sick. Got no remorse. But seriously, I got Matthew Stafford in both of my fantasy leagues. And, well, in our ESPN league, I'm going to insert him as my starter. But in my other league, I got Cam Newton and Matthew Stafford. I'm about to sell high on Matthew Stafford in my league. For any of my players, wait, I'm on Russ as soon as you bench your fantasy team. I'm on Rust as soon as you bench your fantasy team. You want me to bench my fantasy team? Why you want to bench my fantasy team, man? Ezra, have you seen the anime Parika? No, I have. I've never heard of it. The last anime that I watched. What was the last anime I finished watching? I don't remember. Don't remember. It's something. It was like a fake One Punch Man too. Academia or something like that. It was called Academia. Oh well. I'm over here. We're talking about football. I don't have it, but it looks fun as hell. How you gonna suggest a game to me you don't have? People are savages. Meanies. How about this? When David's away, let's talk some trades. Come on, let's talk some ESPN fantasy football trades. I need, let's get this done. You're gonna trade me Tyrod Taylor for Stafford? No, of course not. What do I need? I need everything. Mark Ingram has been a disappointment in fantasy so far. He finally had a solid game. Spencer Hall, he's been doing a good job, solid job. Let's see what else. I might need a running back. I'll take another running back or wide receiver, but I don't have much. Blake Bortles, he's on the block. Did the waiver wire go through today? Because I didn't get any players that I put in for. Anyone want to offer me anything for Russell Wilson? I'll give you... Don't want Tavon Coleman or Derrick Henry. I'm not taking Derrick Henry because DeMarco Murray has been very good. He's been very solid for fantasy football because he's on my Yahoo league, so I'm happy with his performance. And that means Derrick Henry's not going to be getting the ball as much. Wilson. I'm interested in Wilson, but he won't be my starter right now because I got Matthew Stafford. How about we could start? What's your name of your team? Raider Hazard. Let me see what's the name of your team. So maybe we could work something out here. We could do a trade right now. I can't stand ESPN. I can't find nobody's roster. Oh man. Okay, it's called Raider. I see it. Raider Hazard. Okay. Boom. You got Derek Carr. Of course you do. Man, you got no running backs either, man. You got some wide receivers, though. You got some Odell Mike Evans. You got Marvin Jones, too. Ooh, this kid is old. This kid know what he doing over here. Maybe I should go for the combo. Go for the combo right now. So who you want? Who do you want? What do you need, Raider? Talk to me. Right now? Right now? Okay. Who do you want for Russell Wilson? What are you looking for? I got the pieces and flexibility. Running back. I ain't got that. Where's my team? So I can. At running back, I give you Adrian Foster. Zach, you're only offering backups. You talking about Devin? You talking about Coleman, Henry, and John Brown? They're all backups. John Brown is the third string. Tight end. What tight ends do I have? I think I got Eric Ebron as my. I got Eric Ebron. Not a very sexy name, because Grunk is not on the house. He's not for sale right now. I have to send you a trade or something, you know what I'm saying? You seriously need some running backs. You got Ryan Matthews and Melvin Gordon. That's it, really. Why did you pick up Jalen Richard from the Raiders? Is Murray hurt? What's going on? You got 1, 2, 3 players from Oakland on your team.
All right, I'm back.
You gonna take Ebron for Russell Wilson? Hey, David's back. Shh, guys. Delete your comments. Delete your comments. We'll talk about these trades later. Delete your comments.
You guys are talking trades right now?
No, of course not. Talking about Madden trades. Yeah, we're talking Madden trades.
You're talking about fantasy football trades.
Why would we talk about fantasy football? We're running the Red Zone Blitz right now.
You guys can negotiate at some point.
We would never did that.
Do that on Twitter. Do it on Twitter. Do it on Twitter.
It says add your boyfriend. Wow. Add your birthday to your profile. So it says on Twitter.
All right.
Or add your boyfriend to your Twitter also.
I left off at the Lions and the Bears. Did you make a pick for that?
Lions all day.
I'm going Lions. Bears are too injured, too banged up. Bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos 3-0. Buccaneers 1-2. I got Broncos. Trevor Siemian looked like a reliable starting NFL quarterback last week. The Buccaneers, man, it's tough to gauge that team right now. So until they prove to me that they can beat a good team, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Well,
I got them proving to you this week they could beat a good team. I got the Buccaneers at home beating the Broncos.
Okay.
Even though that's a bad matchup, because we're talking about finesse and physical teams earlier. You know, I think the Buccaneers are more on the finesse side, and the Broncos feed off of that. But no surprise, Jameis Winston.
Cardinals, Rams 2-1 on top. Again, on top of the NFC West. Cardinals 1-2, but I don't see this going in the Rams' favor. I'm gonna have both teams at 2-2 at the end of this one. I say the Cardinals win.
Same here. I don't see, even though the Rams like playing their divisional guys, tough. I got the Cardinals here at home.
Couple more, I think. 4 more? Yeah. Wow, there's only 2 teams on bye this week, the Eagles and the Packers. I don't like the early bye, but whatever. Anyway, Saints 0-3 at the Chargers 1-2. This is going to be that has to be a shootout, right?
And I think the Saints have too many weapons, and I'm going with the Saints.
You think so?
More weapons, man.
Yeah.
And the Chargers don't have they don't have a great secondary anyway.
Golly. Maybe the Saints get their first win. I don't remember who I chose, but I'll go Saints as well. Cowboys 2-1 at 49ers 1-2. They're playing in I don't even know where. I guess Santa Clara. Not even San Francisco. It's Santa Clara. I got Dallas.
I got Dallas also. I think they're much better than people are giving them credit for right now.
2-1 Chiefs at 2-1 Steelers. This is a Sunday night game on NBC at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Steelers bounce back.
I have the Chiefs winning this game.
Okay. I got the Steelers bouncing back. I don't see them
I get
up the joint again.
Chiefs have a wonderful pass defense. They can run the ball.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick made them look like a wonderful.
No, last year too they were on caliente, that defense, especially the pass defense. And they can run the ball. I think they'll control the clock. I think they'll cause some problems for the Steelers.
Sacrification. Saints win 69-63 against the Chargers.
It's a basketball game right there, like a D-League.
Well, I also predicted the Giants in the Saints game would be a shootout, and that was the complete opposite. So, Monday night game, this should be a good one. Giants at the Vikings. 2-1 Giants at the 3-0 Vikings in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Who you got?
I've got the Vikings. Okay, tough defense. Sam Bradford, MVP.
Whoa.
You know how it is.
You might want to slow your roll, man.
MVP Sam Bradford.
No. I'm not sold yet. I got the Giants.
Who's the leading MVP right now?
I'm not sold yet. I got the Giants.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying who's leading MVP right now?
I don't know,
tough
man.
One.
But as crazy as this sounds, there's going to be some people who are going to say Carson Wentz because he's one of the only quarterbacks who hasn't turned the ball over, and he has his team at 3-0.
That's a tough question, I think, right now. Who is the MVP right now? NFL right now, right now. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me.
I don't know. That's a tough one. It's too many candidates, really. So, we're getting more towards the end of the show, though. We covered all the games. We got about 7 minutes left here before we end up signing off. Any questions, comments, concerns, throw that down in the FanDuel comment box. We'll get to those. Again, you guys can hit us up on Facebook and Twitter throughout the week. For those who have not already, you guys can follow us. Or like our page and ask us anything. You guys can feel free to jump in on any conversations we have throughout the week. We will talk to you guys. That's the whole point. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in so far tonight. Without you guys, there would be no show. So thank you again. To answer Ezra's question, some of you guys are throwing names out there. Delac, he says Matt Forte. Niner Faithful says Matt Ryan, which I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked up his numbers so far.
Matt Ryan's got 7 touchdowns, 1 interception.
How many yards?
970.
Okay.
Drew Brees has got wonderful numbers right now. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. But, he's got to make up for the other crap that's going around that.
36, I think. I think Drew Brees is like 36 years old.
He just signed an extension.
Right. So.
Jameis Winston also has 8 touchdowns, but he has 6 interceptions to go along.
Can't win games when you turn the ball over, boy. Ain't that right, Ezra?
Yes, especially when you have 6 in one game, and you're playing for the someone's spreadsheet.
Just saying. Turnovers are important.
Anthony Barr, whoo, MVP. What about that? If you want to go there, Von Miller leading the league with 5 sacks.
I was about to ask who leads the league in sacks.
Von Miller with 5.
Is he the only one with 5?
He's the only one with 5, and you got 2 with 4.
Okay. How about who leads the league in interceptions? Out of curiosity.
Marcus Peters.
Really?
He's got 4.
How many of those were Fitz's?
I believe 2 of them.
Okay. I felt just like that at the end of that game. Ryan was just slinging them just to say, hey, you know what?
You ain't the only one. That's what I said. He was like, he ain't trying to win this.
6.
Because we still had a chance in that third quarter, fourth quarter to come back and make it a game. But he's like, nah, nope, got to pay off these guys.
I just didn't understand that because I was actually the first time I've ever watched Red Zone, the Red Zone channel. I was at my buddy's house last week, and he had it. So we're sitting there watching all the games going back and forth late in the day, and they cut out of the Jets game after Ryan threw his 3rd pick. And I was like, man, it's 3 picks, man. He's done. Like, the team's done. They're not going to win this game. They come back, and they're like, oh, that's like not even a couple minutes later. Oh, that's Ryan Fitzpatrick's 5th interception. Like, 5th? What happened to number 4? How did they get the ball, and how has he thrown 2 interceptions in 5 minutes? And then they cut in, they say, he's thrown number 6. It's like, my goodness. It's an epidemic. So that's a game he already probably forgot about. You can't do anything other than forget about a game like that. So that's rough.
I know my Jets suck.
That sucks. Big time.
I don't like ESPN's.
Really quickly, because we talked about the Eagles winning Super Bowls earlier, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't know who Phil Steele is, but this is on ESPN's website right now. It says from SportsCenter, Philadelphia has won each of its first 3 games by double digits, which is the 3rd time in team history. The other 2 times they made the Super Bowl in 1980 and in 2004. Does that mean anything?
Nah. I really don't look at the history type things as indication for stuff. To be honest.
It's an interesting tidbit, that's all. I forgot the Eagles went to the Super Bowl in 2004, to be honest with you. I didn't even... That was one of those Patriots teams that just... it's funny because...
That was a wonderful Super Bowl, though. I'll tell you that. Patriots versus Eagles.
But if you think about it, though, did the Rams, when they played the Rams, did they win it off of Vinatieri's field goal?
Yes.
When they played the Panthers, did they win it off of Vinatieri's field goal?
They won a lot of Super Bowls off of his foot.
Was it all 3?
If I remember correctly, I want to say yes. I'm thinking the Eagles won. No, I think the defense held up.
That has to make Vinatieri the best kicker of all time, man.
Well, he's all going to be a Hall of Famer already. That's already given.
You want to talk about the best quarterback of all time?
Oh, Dell said he was at the Super Bowl. That's awesome.
Huh?
Dell Key said he was at that Super Bowl, Patriots versus Eagles.
Oh yeah. So why not talk about the best kicker of all time? To be able to clinch those Super Bowls in order for Tom Brady to be labeled as the best quarterback of all time. If Vinatieri hypothetically misses those kicks, or it was a different kicker or anything, and they weren't in that position to make those field goals, and he missed them, or a game goes into overtime, they end up losing, is Tom Brady considered the best quarterback of all time without Adam Vinatieri making those kicks?
No, because people's minds are very fragile, okay? They forget about these types of things. People forget about Tom Brady's Super Bowl. He did nothing. Okay, now let me not say nothing. But there was a defensive team. He was a game manager. Their first Super Bowl. So people consider to give him all the credit for that one. But it is what it is. It's all subjective. People are prisoners of the moment.
And with that note, we'll leave that question up in the air for you guys to decide. I'm Dave from Wake Up It's Football. That is Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk / Idiot Ezra.
Woo!
And we're going to call it a night. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. Shout outs to everybody. Della Key, Raider Hazard, Niner Faithful, Zachification, Jamex. Anybody else who I didn't mention. Javi, Ohio Pats fan. Nick Ray, Bird Gang, Eric Oso, Black Mamba, Cubone Football, Super Hippo, Andrew Kim, all you guys, thank you again. There would be no Red Zone Blitz without you guys. So we'll catch you guys hopefully next week. Stay in touch with us on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And hopefully we'll have another fun round of fantasy football this week. But that's all we got for you guys this week. We're out.
Holla at your boy.